We're back again with Guy Forsyth, and we were talking about the evolution of music, like the kind of like, okay, let's get into the historical perspective. That is definitely my gig. Of the train, meaning like the westward movement, and the fact that music actually came out of this kind of people changing, and the whole lifestyle and changes of America, and even out of the Depression there was such a change.
Yeah. It's when we were talking about trains as a symbol.
Right.
But there's another really powerful thing about trains, which sort of ushers in the modern age. I don't know what you're going to define modern as. But the way I'm defining it as is living by the clock. Because if you were in a small rural town in the expanding American nation in the 1820s, 1830s, 1840s,
right,
and they built that train through town, for the first time you had an event that happened at the same time every day.
Right.
It was, here comes the 3:15, and suddenly, you heard that train whistle and you knew what time it was. There was a time in history that we didn't live by a clock the same way that we all do now. The clock sort of defines my life, I find, trying to be busy. Working and being productive. I have a series of appointments in my day.
Right.
Sometimes I wake up when the buzzer rings, and I'm conscious of what hour it is before I go to sleep. So I'm really living by the clock. But it used to be that you got up and you went to work, and if you didn't get your job done, then you were late. You better get up earlier in order to get your job done. But when you had the rail system across the U.S. and Europe the same sort of way, you started to live by the clock. You had the central tower on City Hall in the middle,
right,
in the middle of the town. They had the clock on it, and people started to live by the hour. This heralds in the industrialization,
right,
of the world, and the change in the way that schools are taught. The way that schools are taught now, where you have to be at school at a certain time, you have this class to this time, this class to this time, this class to this time, is really how you train people to work in factories. And the system of education in the United States is really based upon the way that they evolved schools to teach people to work in an industrialized, right, society. And so we're taught to put everything in little boxes. I refer to this thing as the clockwork virus, which spread around the world on the rails of the trains.
So let me ask you a question then. How does Guy Forsyth avoid the clockwork virus?
Well, there's different things that we do, that I do. I guess I drink, or or use other.
What do you drink?
This sort of like wipe away the controlling part of the mind. I don't drink that much, but when I do drink, I like scotch.
Okay. Any particular kind?
I like single malts, like Glenfiddich,
okay,
or McAdoo, or Bond, or stuff like that. It's an expensive habit, but
yeah, it is. But that's okay.
I don't drink that much. I find that when I drink a whole lot, I forget lyrics, so it doesn't work to do it while I'm working a lot. Yeah, and
it's a sipping kind of thing, though.
Yeah, it's an enjoyable thing. But the other thing that is more powerful than that is to get inside your own, to tune into your own self. So I've been doing martial arts for about 20 years, and I found that by getting that gets me out of my head, or at least out of the analytics.
So what belt are you, and how many of them do you have?
Well, I've been studying traditional Chinese Kung Fu for a long time, so there's no traditional belt system in Chinese Kung Fu, but I teach at the USA Kung Fu Academy when I'm in town, and I also teach Tai Chi for health when I'm in town in Austin at Rita Maya Coffee House Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, so if you happen to be in Austin, stop on by. And
he's not kidding.
I'm not. It's great, and I find that by being conscious of your own body and what you're doing, it gets rid of the narrator in your head.
Yes.
Who's constantly talking about how you need to get to this next appointment or stuff like that, and that's really healthy. Anything you can do to try to quiet the commentator inside your head, I think, gets you back to your more healthy mammalian existence.
Exactly. So is the Kung Fu and the Tai Chi and any quieting, is like lyric writing for you, is that something that's, does it quieten you down or does it stir things up?
Writing lyrics is a reaction, I think, to being disturbed. I think that, and sometimes it's a really powerful way to deal with it, and it works really well. You know, just if sometimes I think if I'm frustrated about something and I can channel that into writing, I can relieve the pressure for a little while.
Right.
And that feels really good. But so, I think my physical practices quiet the brain a good bit, and so I don't know if they make me a better songwriter. I think they make me healthy.
Okay.
And make me more centered. But you have to get past a certain amount of the background noise in your head in order to focus, in order to write.
Yes, you do.
And I think it's useful for that. And God knows it's really useful being a performer to get to have some sort of physical practice, because late nights, abundant alcohol, tobacco, and marijuana, and things like that are not the healthiest lifestyle choices. So you have to have something to balance it out. You have to do something that will provide you some sort of sense of longevity. I'm 39 now, and I've been a professional musician since I moved to Austin in 1990. And I've seen a lot of people come and go in this business. I've seen a lot of people come and die in this business just from not taking care of themselves.
Right.
Which I'm sure that no matter what your business is, I mean, you might sell cars, you see the same thing. You know, if you're not conscious of it and you're not tending yourself, you'll burn out.